The History Channel and BBC Two Northern Goat Boy presents History's Greatest Debates. Today's debate: should New Year's Day be moved to April 1st? Advocating for the change is the eloquent Pig of Ware.
Isn't April 1st already April Fool's Day? Well, not exactly up there with Passover or 4th of July, Spritel, but you are correct. And what a better day to start the new year when you think about it. You wake up Nugget. What is Nugget? Who is Nugget? Why are you waking him up? Leave Nugget alone.
Welcome to the Nothing Zone Party. You can join at home. Come along and bring your friends. Here the party never ends. Welcome to the Nothing Zone. Never have to feel alone. Go ahead and shake your butt. No one here will give a fuck. Welcome to the Nothing Zone. Welcome to the Nothing Zone. Welcome to the Nothing Zone. Welcome to the Nothing Zone.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume. Hey, but hey, howdy and heroic. It me, your funky werepig. I'm back with the entire cast and crew. Got Boychild 1.0 right over here, working the exercise bike that powers our entire Commodore 64 magic that we bring to you at home. And then there's Boychild 2.0, right. With our staff of 1,000, everybody came back. It's good to be employed. We've got so much going on, and we haven't stopped since last night because it was our New Year's Eve. Remember, I moved that stuff. I moved it to springtime. More on that later. But that makes today, April 1st. Happy New Year! So, again, we've got so much planned and things to talk about. But first, we've got to do ceremony. Ceremony first. We have to do, to kick off the new season, the blessing of the moon pie. Ready? Moya droga yachakoham. And these are double deckers. Who got these? You? You? That's a good call. She gets a raise. She gets a double decker raise. That's good. We're starting off strong already. All right. Then we got to do the lighting of the underwear scented candle. I can't be trusted with fire, so this was already lit for me. Thank you. Cottony freshness. And then the third part of the trifecta of tradition, the toast to officially launch this season. Ready? To all of you at home, I hope you're not wearing pants. Oh, oh, God. Who put coffee in my Zima? You? I'm not mad. I just wish you would have warned me, like put a post-it note up or something, but that's a little early for coffee, don't you guys think? Let's talk about tonight's guest. We have with us tonight the one, the only, Lawrence C. Connolly. If you don't know him from his trend-setting novels and short story collections, then you might know him from working with Mick Garris on Nightmare Cinema. He's now an orator for podcasts for different theaters and such. He does everything with everybody, and tonight he's going to do the same with us. I can't think of a better dude to have with us, rolling right from St. Patty's Day through our New Year's, than Sir Lawrence. He's going to do the interview, of course, then party with us, and then roll right on through and do the music. If you haven't heard Sir Lawrence's music before, he does this combination he invented of Irish folk music, rock with a little bit of punk, and then some more rock. So it's kind of like this Irish folk rock punk rock sound. You'll hear it for yourselves. It's magnificent. We also have a special treat for you guys tonight. Many moons ago, I was a young improv comic, and I did theaters and comedy clubs. And there's this young dude, I don't even know if he was 20 yet, that was wondering if he could follow me around with a camera for like a year. Documentary guy. And I said, sure, why not? It'll be a hoot. That's what the kids said back then, a hoot. And so he did. And I had no idea that guy would be John Kennard, one of the best documentary filmmakers today. And what a pleasure it was growing up with him, basically. And he had no idea that I was a pole dancer. as well as a comic. But when you follow somebody 24/7, you're going to find out some stuff. Always watching. John and I were talking not so long ago, and he uncovered some archive footage of yours truly doing just some comedy stuff back in the day. So tonight we're going to play the debut for you of a pre-werepig doing comedy. The Boychilds are still freaked out about it, and I hope it affects you the same way. As I mentioned, we have partied all throughout the night, straight into the morning, to celebrate our New Year's, April 1st. Now, I know a lot of you were left in the dark, and that's fine. This is a crusade I have done for about a decade. Boychild 1.0 and Boychild 2.0 have put together a video to explain it far better than I can. It's from my seminar, New Funky New Year. We all have a sword we're willing to die on, and for over a decade, I've been fighting a corrupt system that refuses to move New Year from the outdated day of January 1st to the highly logical and absolutely gorgeous day of April 1st. Me, I want my New Year to start with sunshine, green grass, warmth, trees, birds chirping, animals humping everywhere. And that's why I once again propose that we officially move New Year's Eve to March 31st and New Year's Day to April 1st. Springtime. This is exactly why I hate to give you guys final edit. Pure evil, pure evil. Double-decker moon pie, you are now in charge. Thank you. I also thought I'd make morning coffee unique for this show. I've been thinking a lot about the constant tension we all feel for the past couple years, and we're all part of it. I'm no different. We all have an arch enemy. Batman has Joker, Thor has Loki, Dexter had Mandar. I thought I would take a giant step forward, and I invited my archenemy to share coffee with me this morning. He's a guy that I try never to mention his name, but then I think that's exactly what he wants me to do. So then I mention his name, which is McCoy. You listen to the end of every show, I can't hold it back any longer. He's in there. But today, you'll see him. He joins me for morning coffee to see if we can work it out. McCoy.
We're pig.
Well, we tried. With flawless continuity, joining us live via satellite through Zoom is our musical director, JJ Glamour. JJ, been a while. JJ, you good? Find his emergency contact info.
I apologize. I've given up smoking, but not the gestures.
Okay. New Year's Eve resolution. I appreciate you jumping aboard the April 1st train there. Thank you, dude. Did not get to talk to you during the break. So how was your Valentine's Day?
You know, diamonds are forever, but so is plastic. I wanted to show my practical side, so I gave my girlfriend an empty milk jug. Former girlfriend.
Let's just write that off as her loss. JJ had a good, healthy break. Now that we're back, I'm sure during our time off you were whipping up some music magic. Why don't you hit us with something ginormous to play us out? Subscribe to the Funky Werepig on YouTube and have all the laughter and music fall right into your hands. We are so excited about our spring season. Everything promises to be bigger and better. You have no idea how embarrassing the No Pants Zone can be in January. Behold the Magic Farmers Incorporated! Speak, Moo Cow! Speak!
You're not the boss of me!
My most embarrassing moment on stage was we were doing the early Monday morning show a long time ago, and it was like this really bad doctor skit, and I had to sit on a wooden chair in the middle of the stage, and I had an actor on either side of me, and they were like arguing back and forth about whatever it was, and I had to play ping pong between the two, and every once in a while I had a line. So I'm stuck on stage with this skit, and I had a gas bubble that was just killing me. Just absolutely killing me. And it was like halfway down my leg and all through my intestines and folding me over. And I'm stuck on stage for, I know, like another 5 minutes and I can't do anything. So I'm sitting there and I'm dying. I am in so much pain. And I decide, you know, I'm going to die. I'm going to implode. So I think, here's what I'm going to do. There's a 50-50 chance right off the bat you're not even going to hear it. It's going to be silent but deadly. So I can take that gamble. Then on top of it, you know, if it makes a noise, you know, there's maybe like 150 people in the audience. Only the front row was really going to hear it, and the two other actors. Well, I can go ahead and fake it just as well as they do. You know, if this noise comes out and everyone starts laughing, they're looking at me, I'm going to start looking at them. You know, so I figured it's a good shot either way, one or the other. So I got a good chance to just, I'm like in tears. I'm hurting so bad. So I go ahead and I go, okay. So I open the valves and I let it out. Well, I guess because I had held it in so long and it was so compressed, it was like, have you ever sat on a water balloon and you try to pop it? That's what it was like inside my pants, and it just kept rolling around. Like it would go up and over my thigh and then back over my butt cheeks, and it just wouldn't pop. It was like this solidified, encased fart. So I'm sitting there, and it's like becoming now annoying, and I'm embarrassed, so I start doing this on the chair. Trying to pop this thing and get it over with. Well, the son of a bitch pops, and God in his cruel ways, I was expecting to just go like, you know, or whatever, some kind of noise, and I'm prepared already to go, you know, like that. No, what it does is it pops, but it makes this noise. And it was like if you could draw it was a straight line. And it went to the very back of the audience, hit the back wall, and came all the way back up to me in a pinpoint. So everyone had more than enough time to turn around and go, him! And I couldn't shut it off. So I clenched my butt cheeks together really tight to like cut it off, and all I did was raise the pitch. Which was even worse. So I was like panicking, and everyone knows it's me, and it's attached to my butt on this long string, and it's just shooting out. So finally, I figured out too late to just relax, and I just went, like, just fluttered out. But that was my worst time on stage, my most embarrassing moment. There was nothing we did in that show that could have topped that. I launched on stage in front of 150 people, and everyone knew I did it. I'll never work in this town again.
The Legend of Ugly Joe. Gregory L. Hall's comedy tribute to horror movies and paranormal TV is available at Amazon Books. The Legend of Ugly Joe. Get your copy today, or Gregory will date your mama. It's time for Celtic Pillow Talk with a hard C.
I'm a spunky red-headed lassie. Did you know 99% of Nessie sightings can be explained away as me swimming naked? It's actually illegal for me to wear a kilt. They call me the two-handed claymore. And by they, I mean me. Pure dead brilliant.
Okay. All right. Woo-hoo. Woo. Hi, I'm JJ Glamour, musical director of the Funky Werepig. Have you ever dreamed about being a guitar master? Yeah, me too. Although I'm known for the keyboard, I play several instruments: the French horn, the zither, parts of an oboe, and yes, the guitar. So here's your chance to jam with JJ Don't You Fret Glamour. With my 14 easy lessons, you can learn how to play Horse with No Name, Row, Row, Row Your Boat, Piano Man, and Horse with No Name. Sometimes it's fun to just strum for hours. And here's the best part. My courses are located all across the US of A. Just tell me where you live, and I'll be located right outside a nearby train station. My only requirement is that you bring your own guitar. Oh, and bring an extra one so I can play too. Jam with JJ Don't You Fret Glamour. How do you think Eddie Van Halen got started? Yeah, with a guitar.
Jam with JJ Glamour guitar lessons. All major credit cards accepted, as well as Bitcoins or tuna fish. Call today. Is there a number? Okay then. I got to introduce you to, and I'm going to say it. You can Google search it and it may not match up, but I'm going to say it. SIR Lawrence C. Connolly. I don't know if the Queen's gotten off her lazy butt yet to knight him. They got some stuff going on over there right now.
They do.
But in Werepig world, I knighted him a long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, put it together for SIR Lawrence C. Connolly.
Thank you, Greg. Boy, this is fun. That was a good introduction. Thank you. You can do that anytime.
I had forgotten half of it.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that you've written for Amazing Stories and Twilight Zone magazine and Cemetery Dance, and then like every time they put out a year's best in horror, they'd like stop by you first. What do you got? What do you got? I mean, you know, but we're going to cover all that, the whole shebang. We usually record the show, parts of the show in advance. Obviously, this is our New Year's show, April 1st. But I got a special gift this year. Tonight is actually St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
And who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? See that?
That's right. You got the hat on.
But here's the deal. You wouldn't normally be here. I couldn't book you on St. Patty's Day if I tried, because you'd be at some pub raising hell right now, wouldn't you?
That's right. That's right. You know, this has been, we had to cancel all our shows last March. and the band hasn't been out since. The band has been
It's been a year.
has been disbanded. We haven't been playing at all, and we would definitely be playing tonight. This is our biggest night. You know, we typically would play to just packed houses. Playing all this week, we would have probably done 20, 25 hours total. People make a big deal about Springsteen doing 3-hour shows. Well, we'll do 8-hour shows. And we have to, because the places are so crowded that the only place to stand is on the stage. The people in there are just wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, Guinness to Guinness. There's no getting through them. So we just stay on the stage and play. It's the safest place, and it's the place with the most room. And so we kind of live on the stage all St. Patrick's Day and throughout the week too, because we have the advanced celebrations the weekends before, and then we have the big celebrations that go all weekend on St. Patrick's Day weekend, and then of course nothing. And then everybody goes home and sleeps it off for a year. But it's a terrific time of the season, and yeah, I'm missing it in a way, but in another way, I'm able to shift gears and focus on the writing. So it's been a productive year.
When you look at what you write and the body of work you have, do you say, I probably lean more towards experimental genius, or there's really something wrong with me?
I don't know what you would be. It's actually pretty methodical. What I do is, you know, when I'm thinking through a story and when I'm working through a story, I'm you know, a very slow writer and a very methodical writer. So it's probably too thought out to be, you know, crazy. But I don't know. You know, I don't know what to make of it. But I am glad that I do it. And it's and you talk about painting outside the lines, coloring outside the lines. That's something I've always done. I'm not sure where that comes from or why I do that, but I've always just thought of my stories as stories. And so it has paid off because it makes the stories stand out. It makes them distinctive. I hope that when people read them, they stick in their minds. I think I've told you the story before, but I'll tell it again. You know, there was the story This Way to Egress, which was originally in Borderlands 3 under the title Traumatic Descent. That came out. And there were a couple of guys in London, and David Slade, who's now in LA, and Charlie Cantor, the late, great Charlie Cantor, who made some excellent indie films. And David Slade and Charlie wanted to do a movie together back in the day, back when they were first starting out. And they say, well, we want to do something, you know, really distinctive, really unusual. And David said, well, I've got that. And he pulled out a paperback of Borderlands, and they opened it up to Traumatic Descent. And he said, this is going to be our first movie together. And so when, you know, some guys across the pond who are looking for something distinctive, something different, they pick up on that story. And you got to admit, Borderlands is full of really distinctive stories. And to have a story stand out as distinctive in that mix is quite an honor. And so it has paid off. Although you do also raise another issue, is that people don't really know what to make of me, you know, where I fit in, into what genre I fit in. I mean, even, you know, music and writing, but it's all art. It's all fun. It's all part of the story.
First off, I have to that's the Padrone, right? That's Mr. Tom Monteleone.
Tom Monteleone, Borderlands, and
yeah.
I'm working on a book with him right now with Borderlands Press. We're going to be doing a collection of Ambrose Bierce stories where I've written the introduction. But what we're doing is we're laying out the stories in an interesting chronological order. This is not the order in which they were written, but if you look at Ambrose Bierce's stories, you'll see that he always anchors them in a specific moment in time, a specific moment in historical time. So you can actually lay his stories out so that they are a story told in chronological order. And it kind of shows his evolution as a writer. He got started very late in life as a writer. He didn't start writing fiction until he was in his late 20s. And that was not until he was shot in the head and left for dead on a battlefield at Kennesaw Mountain. And that bullet never came out. And so he gets out of the service. He has the bullet in his head. He has these lingering headaches. He has something that looks like post-traumatic stress, and he begins sorting through his war experience. And so we move through the Civil War with him, with his Civil War horror stories, and then we move into his stories beyond that, where it looks like he's really dealing with those ghosts from the Civil War in his later stories. So we're having great fun with this. We're calling it, this is going to be the Ambrose Bierce collection of Civil War horror. Looking forward to it. I just turned in the manuscript.
We got to talk about the elephant in the room. It's right over your shoulder. We got to talk about Nightmare Cinema. So you wind up, particularly with This Way to Egress, that you eventually, it was a long journey, but you actually do get to work with David Slade, and you guys actually do make this as part of Nightmare Cinema, which is Mick Garris. You get yours in there. It's like one of 5 stories. Is that right?
One of 5. Yes, it's an anthology film with 5 stories in it. Stories by Richard Christian Matheson, Sandra Besserell, and then Alejandro Burgess wrote his own piece, and then Mick Garris. So and me. The story is the film is about this derelict movie theater where people go in, they're drawn in, they walk by, they see their name on the marquee,
and the ticket just pops up, and they got to get the ticket, and they go in, and don't go in, don't go in, just keep it. No. And they do, great? And then it's not good news.
And then Mickey Rourke is in there, showing the movies of their lives. It's great stuff. And last I heard from Mick, there is a Nightmare Cinema 2 being planned. And this was actually always the plan from the beginning that Mick had, was to make Nightmare Cinema a franchise, have it be a series of anthology films, or maybe a television show, or even a series of films under the Nightmare Cinema imprint. So we haven't heard the last of Nightmare Cinema, and so I'm excited about that.
Mick Garris is just the king of that. I mean, like I said, through Masters of Horror, and I think he did Amazing Stories. I can't remember, but his resume is, taller than I am, and I'm like 5'4", so that's pretty good. So that's incredible. If you go again, if you go for a sequel and you're involved, are you going to hook up with Mr. Slade again? Or are you going to mix and match? Is it going to be like a speed dating thing? Okay, I worked with you last time, I'm going to move over here. Or would you like to keep working with Mr. Slade? Because that guy's got chops too. He's did he do like American Gothic? He produced some of that, or no, not American Gothic. What is it? American Gods.
American Gods.
American Gods.
Hannibal.
And then he did one of my favorite movies of all time, the 30 Days of Night.
30 Days of Night.
With the way vampires should be. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Danny
Mr. Slade.
Houston. Oh, was he great? Danny Houston as the big bad monster. Oh, he was great.
Right in the middle of all this paranormal romance. The mopey guy across the hall who I have a crush on just happens to be a 1,000-year-old vampire. We're in love. No. 30 Days a Night went, stop it. Oh, I love all those guys.
Yes. It's I would love to work with him again, and we did have a meeting right before this COVID thing hit, right when I got back from Mexico doing the book event down there. David and I got together for lunch, and we were planning a new project, and we're still planning this new project. We have stuff cooking that we're looking to work on a feature together. So that's in the pipeline, and we're going to hope that happens when the world opens back up.
When we go through what we go through, and most people are binge watching tiger dude or whatever it was, and just laying on a couch looking at the ceiling going, I'm going to paint that one day. You've just rattled off probably half a dozen different things you got coming up. The world's only taken a year off.
Yes, but I've been fortunate. I've had a place to hole up. I have had, you know, here's kind of the way it works. You spend your life learning to do something, and so I spent my life, you know, learning to write and finding out how to tell stories. And I always said, you know, if I can ever just stay at home, I'm going to get a whole lot of work done. And then along came this terrible thing. And let's make no mistake about it. It's been very upsetting that this whole COVID thing. But nevertheless, it has kept me at home, and I've been doing a heck of a lot of work here.
Okay, I've caught everything that Lawrence C. Connolly can do. I just, you know, I sit there and go, okay, I've eaten dinner with you. I've seen you order food. That in itself is a show. So the kids still talk about that. What do you recommend to me? Your top 3 things on the menu, and then I'm not going to take any of them. I'll make up my own mind. But tell me what they are. Does that sound familiar?
I think, yeah, that does. Yeah, that was it. That was in Ohio, I think. That was a contest.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You did a remote show there. Oh, we had fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, that was the old werepig days.
Always fun, man. Always
so that's when we invented pork donut.
Oh yeah, that's a good song. And you know, so we've got to put that out. Pork donut. Yeah, because I was reading the book. Life by Keith Richards. And Keith Richards says in the book that all you need is a hook. Once you get that hook, you're ready to go. And you and I, we work like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. You know, because Keith Richards would throw something out like, she blew my mind and blew my nose. Okay, and Mick Jagger just runs with it. And I threw out pork donut, and we went wild with it. And you came up with, I came up with the hook, pork donut, right? And then you did gotta bake it at 103. Yeah, you did that.
Yeah, but the difference is your mind created, and I just stole from Foreigner. I was like, you know, pork donut, check it and see. You gotta cook it at 103.
That's great.
Yeah, pork donut.
That's classic.
It's already. And by the way, if anybody's trying to steal that, this counts as copyright.
That does.
We've already got the magic.
Yep. When the world reopens, you're coming into town here, and we're going to get the Connolly Davis band together, and we are going to record that.
That'd be it. So you're actually just tired of performing anymore. That's what you're telling me. You just need an excuse. You know what? We're gonna do the pork donut thing, and then I'll never get hired again. I'm tired.
Of course, what's funny is, you know, people would try to deconstruct that it means nothing. It was just something crazy we came up with. But I think it could be a hit.
Who inspires you, or especially in your earlier days, starting off when you were first picking up a guitar, who inspired you that eventually led you to this sound?
Yeah, there's a good one. I think who really inspired me when I was first getting started was Stephen Stills. I just thought, Stephen Stills was. I saw Stephen Stills and Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and of course Young had just joined them, so it was technically Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Yeah.
And Stephen Stills did Black Queen. And it was the first time I'd ever heard him do Black Queen. Now, this is one man, one guitar, one voice, and it just rocks. It's full band power on a single guitar. And so I that kind of opened my eyes, and I said, yeah, that's something that I want to do. Now, right after he does Black Queen, which is this great rockin' Delta blues riffy song, he does Blackbird. Crosby, Stills, Nash do Blackbird, the Beatles' Blackbird. Now that's mixing it up, right? And then after they do this acoustic set, they open the curtains, and out comes the band stuff, the drum kit and the amplifiers and everything. And then they do Woodstock. So yeah, this is it. Stephen Stills would mix it up. He would go from blues, acoustic blues, to acoustic Blackbird, to full-on electric Woodstock. And I said, yep, that's what I want to do. So I think Stephen Stills has a lot to answer for.
That's awesome. That is so cool. See, I was expecting you to take the next half hour just, listing them in alphabetical order. But to just say that is so cool that you can just go, that guy. Yeah,
I think it was that guy. I think it was 1969. And, so, I mean, I'm at the age where I'm ready. I'm walking through the world and I'm saying, okay, world, impress me. Give me an impression. And then the impressions that you get when you're in your teens, those are the impressions that last a lifetime. And that really stuck with me. Another thing that really stuck with me, I mean, this is not a rock performer, but the year before that, I think it was, I went with my high school class to a poetry reading. I went to hear Lawrence Ferlinghetti read. And and Lawrence Ferlinghetti did this thing where his last piece was Segovia in the Snow. And what he did is very high tech for the age, he pulled out a cassette tape recorder and he hit play and he holds it up to the microphone and he speaks to the music. He doesn't sing it, but he speaks to the music. So he's giving this reading of this long, beautiful poem to acoustic guitar music. And so on the way home that night, my English teacher says to me, what are you going to do? He's worried about me. This guy he's not going anywhere. This guy Connolly is not going anywhere. What are you going to do with your life? And I said, I think I might just be a writer. Yeah. And so I would have to say that Stephen Stills and Lawrence Ferlinghetti, those guys have a lot to answer for.
Wow.
I was in one of the World Fantasy Conventions. This was 2007 or 8 or something. And it was in Saratoga Springs. And I get in late the night before the convention. I just want to get something to eat. And I go into the bar and I order. Of course, I ask the people sitting there, what are the 3 things I should order? And they tell me, and I order something else. And then we're talking. And the woman that's there, she says, we're talking about stories we read that we really liked. And she said, I just remember this story from Twilight Zone called Mrs. Half-Booger's Basement. And it was just really a terrific ghost story. And I'm thinking, do I say anything? Or do I just shut up? Do I just savor the moment? So I decided to go for it. I said, well, that's one of mine. Well, the person turns out it's Barbara Roden at Ash Tree Press. And this is how the book This Way to Egress came about, because Chris Roden then turned to me and he said, you know what, we want to do your next book. And the only thing you have to promise is that Mrs. Half-Booger's Basement is in there. Okay. There it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And here's the dealio with this. Yeah, here, let's see if we can.
That's one of the paperbacks too. And that you know what? That is worth big bucks, that paperback.
Is it really?
That was made special for the book release in Brighton in the UK. Ash Tree released 5 books, early releases, especially at the convention. And they were all hardback when they came out in the States and they came out in Canada. But those paperbacks were specially printed for the World Horror Convention in Brighton, UK. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
There's only about maybe 50 of those. You've got one, my friend. Get out of town. Yeah.
Dudes, we're rich. We're rich. Oh my God. Yeah, and
they sold out there because there are none. I think maybe there were 100 of them.
I had no idea. This is on the werepig library shelf in the basement.
Yeah.
And mine's probably even worth more because it's autographed.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. I have an autographed copy of this. Again, it was Tom Monteleone. He autographed it. It's not your autograph, but I'll take it.
All right.
He'll sign anything. He'll sign anything, that guy.
He's the man. We should also mention something that I'm right in the middle of right now. I began working on a podcast with an outfit called Prime Stage Theater.
Yes.
And this is Prime Stage Mystery Theater. And this is where we put out a series of, or we put out a story, a mystery story in 5 segments, and it runs every week for 5 weeks. And we did our first show. It was titled A Knavish Piece of Mystery, and that came out in October.
Yeah, that was the
and
Halloween
then it
run.
was so successful that they renewed it, and so we are now in the middle of our second season, where we have the new mystery out now. We have the 4th act dropping tomorrow. And it's titled A Knavish. It's titled The Play's the Thing. And you were a guest on the podcast because we have a talk back, right? We have a talk back in the show where people from the audience and people who are friends and writers and people in the genre, they come on and they talk about elements of the story. And you were there telling us the story about the haunted toilet. I love it. It's great stuff.
It's right down the hallway. I was not lying about that. The haunted bathroom. I've heard this rumor. I was going to bring it up. I heard that there is a stage production of Frankenstein, the classic Frankenstein, a new fun, adaptation to it. And you were involved. How involved are you with this?
I wrote it. I adapted it. And it's going to debut, I think, November 6th. I think it's set to go November 6th. And the exciting thing about it is that, the problem with live theater is you're either in town and you see it or you don't. Well, this is going to be video on demand after it's done. It'll be video on demand for 2 weeks. And I'm really excited about this production because I've always wanted to do an adaptation of Frankenstein because it's a novel that I really love. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. And by my humble opinion, no one has ever adapted it the way that it should be adapted. That's kind of arrogant to say, but I've always felt that there were certain things that should have been included that never were. And so we're going to be putting some of those things in there. And the story is going to, the way the screenplay, or excuse me, the stage play is set up is that it bounces back and forth between Mary Shelley's real life and her relationship with her stepsister and with Percy Shelley and Lord Byron, and then Victor Frankenstein and the monster and Elizabeth, and so it plays these 2 worlds off of each other. Very excited about that, and we're doing the reading. The reading is going to be over Zoom, but we are getting the actors together and the directors together next month for the first reading of the script. And at that point, I'll probably have some revisions to do, but we're still on track. Provided the world opens up, we're still on track to have a big world premiere on the 6th of November. I think it's sometime in November.
And where will this be?
This is going to be, wait for it, this is going to be at Prime Stage Theater. So Stage
I've heard
Theater,
of that. I gotta write that down.
But that was it was something I certainly did not have to think about. It was just an opportunity that I could not pass up.
Is there of the film or stage versions you've seen, is there one that you lean more towards? That think they got it fairly close. That's a little bit more superior, or this is more true. This is truer to the book. The novel. Is there one that you lean towards?
Yes, I there is, and it might not be the one you expect me to say, but or that anyone would expect me to say, because it is camp. But I think that Bride of Frankenstein. I think Bride of Frankenstein hits some notes that are just right for the novel. In particular, the making of the bride, the making of the monster's mate, which was an important part of the novel. In the novel, she doesn't, get so far along, but the making of the mate is an important aspect of the book. So I really like that one, and I like the overtop performances. It's certainly not true to the tone of Shelley's novel, and the interesting thing about Shelley's novel is that the word spark is used once, and it's used metaphorically. in chapter 5, the spark of life. There are no flying sparks in the novel. And she never really describes how the monster is made, but she does hint that the monster is grown organically. And hey, here's something a lot of people don't know. We have this notion of graves being robbed and cadavers being dissected to make the monster. But the monster is 8 feet tall. And the reason Victor Frankenstein makes the monster 8 feet tall, and he says it right in the book, he says, because I could not work with human components. They were too small. I had to make the pieces bigger. And so this is hinting at the fact or the possibility that Victor Frankenstein is growing the monster's components, or maybe even growing the monster in its entirety, and then giving it life in some mysterious way, not with generators and flying sparks. Now, I do have to let you know that we have found a way to meld both of these in the stage adaptation that we're doing. So we are going to play homage to the great cinematic works where the sparks are flying and the monster is rising up from from under a shroud. But we're also going to include elements of Shelley's original concept. So we found a nice way to balance those two. Really excited about this. Yeah. Okay. Come to Pittsburgh. We're going to have a blast.
I will come on the night that you're playing all the characters.
All right.
I mean, that's the only way I'll do it now.
And even if you can't make it, it's video on demand. You can't beat that. Video on demand for 2 weeks. So everybody gets to see it.
You're not even going to hit the stage though? You'd be a great Dr. Pretorius. You wouldn't do it?
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Dr. Pretorius, that was great.
You
My favorite character in that.
You would nail it. And you've got some chops. You've got clout.
Yeah,
these people know you now. They fear you. You walk in, you go, that's mine.
Yeah.
They're going to move out of the way.
Right.
They're going to move out of the way.
Yeah. It's my only vice for Dr. Pretorius.
That's right.
Great
It's my
stuff.
only vice.
My only vice.
Oh, that's such a beautiful running bit. Well, thank you so much
This has been a blast.
for being on the show, and you're always welcome. And I just love spending time with you. And I think I told you before we even came on, I've talked with you a million times. You've been on every show. I've done every interview with you, and I've been lucky enough to hang out, and you hang out with my family and everything. It's awesome. All day long, I've been a nervous wreck. I'm interviewing Sir Lawrence today. Oh my God, I'm interviewing Sir Lawrence today. I don't know. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
We just did it.
I get flabbergasted.
I was the same way. I was the same way all day. So we're
and
members
you get
of
to
the
hang
same
out
club.
with you.
That's right. I get to hang out with you. This rocks.
Yeah.
So
I will tell you this because I'm going to push it to the limit. That's what the werepig is all about. Now we're on the big YouTube, so there's transparency. So I'm just going to drop this right here. This time next year, you're my guy.
All right.
You start off every spring season for me.
Well, let's do it. Yeah.
Now we won't be able to do St. Patty's Day because you'll be booked again. You'll be making the pubs go crazy.
So. Yeah.
But I would love to do this, and I'm going to ask your permission. This time next year, I'm coming out to Pittsburgh.
All right.
I'm bringing cameras.
All right.
And I want to see some pub action.
All right. We're going to do it.
And then when you're on the show, because we get to play a song of yours tonight, right?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I
Cool.
hope
Cool.
so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please. Towards the end of the show, we'll play a song of yours. Next year, when you're my spring guy, when you're my Happy New Year's guy, and because I moved New Year's to April, I'm going to come out early to Pittsburgh with cameras, get you on stage, because now that you're the top billing guy, and I'm going to shoot some stuff, and then that'll be the music for the show.
Oh, we will have a blast. I can't wait.
We can do
make it
that.
happen. We can do it.
Yes.
All right.
All right, good sir. I have taken up a majority of your St. Patrick's night. Thank you so much again for being here. I just love spending time with you. Behave out there. We're going to come out the other end. And,
work on it.
I'll probably see you in November for that one-man show of Frankenstein.
All right. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting together with you again, too, real soon.
Real soon. So,
All right.
see you, buddy.
Okay. Take care.
Are you ready, piggy petters? Then let's put the needle to the record.
He pulls to the shoulder, the hillside angles down, splashes through the runoff and parks beneath the shroud of overhanging branches that cloak the moon in green, turns on the high beams and turns to breed careen. He said you wanted to go dancing, well here's a place I found, beyond the shallow runoff, a stage of rising ground. Beyond the dented fender, where the xenon beams converge, she climbs onto a hillock and teeters on the verge. See me dancing, but here's some moves I found that fulcrum on the ankles and pivot on the ground. Kinetic expectation, she turns her head askance, pivots in forward motion and falls into the dance. Lights, the backrest angle down. He plays the AM speakers that crackle with the sound of 1,001 dances that hook the night in green. He turns on the high beams and watches breed careen.
Stop by LawrenceCConnolly.com to find Sir Lawrence's novels and collections, the latest news on Nightmare Cinema and other film projects, and podcasts for both the Prime Stage Theater and the Wicked Library. Only one person has ever been knighted by the Funky Werepig, and he's at LawrenceCConnolly.com.
Like a clock on a wall said ding ding dong, it's time to check the monkey clock. You know, the batteries in the monkey clock died long ago, so when I look up and I see that the time is 10 after 12, that is the correct time. Because one does not argue with monkey clock.
Hugs and heroinks to our big guest tonight, Sir Lawrence C. Connolly. I love the stories, the laughs, and then you bring the music. So I hope that you enjoyed your time with us as much as we did with you. And Sir Lawrence just sent us a picture. I believe that's his way of saying he's coming back. But that's okay, because we're also heading down to Pittsburgh. This time next year, it'll be St. Patty's Day in the pubs, cranking out the music together. Yeah, boy! High fives and disco hip bumps to the Magic Farmers Incorporated, Zombie Zach, Goat Boy, Iva November Slasher Malone, President James K. Polk, McCoy, and the boundless talent that is John Kennart and his partner in crime, Brother Christian. Before we head out, I have a small favor to ask. In January, we had an old buddy of mine on the show, artist Michael Ballin. The French know him as Michel Bellin, and in the art world, he's known as Michael Bailey. He has to change his name a lot. He gets in trouble with the law. He's from Jersey. What are you going to do about it, huh? Forget about it. So he, right now, this very moment, is doing an art fair in LA, and he's doing it throughout the weekend. Do we have a graphic? Can we put up the graphic thingy? The other art fair, Los Angeles, goes through April 4th. It's easy to find online, or you go to Mike's website at mabaileyart.com. It's all virtual, so it would be great if you could swing by and support Mike. But more importantly, it would help me. See, Mike has this piece of art called Burst. It's amazing. And I was saving up my Christmas money. Then I'm reading Vogue, and I find this coupon inside that knocks the price down to $27. Look at Mike just taunting me with this. Hexagons are my favorite shape. And then you got all the colors. And Mike said that the wood was made from African pelicans. The wood is African paddock. Paddock. Well, in my defense, I don't really pay attention when I do interviews. Speaking of Kickbahookie weekends, I have an early flight out of here. The Boychilds registered me into a Mary Lou Retton gymnastics camp. So I can't say enough about America's sweetheart. She is my muse, my life coach, my spirit animal. And I have to work on my, the half twist, full frontal, something like that. It's up there with African paddock. And most of all, the boys told me that there would be a tiki bar, and I pray to God they're not lying about that. Only one more thing to do, that's check in with JJ Glamour. There you are, good sir. Dude, heck of a first show back. Let's put the needle to the record, throw those pants in the air like we just don't care, and you are in charge while I am gone. So if you would, play us out and make it something funky.
Anyone else smell something burning?